To recap 2018, as I've mentioned many times before, we started off and it was rough at the very beginning of the year, starting off 2-5, but we finished 5-1 at the end of the year, and I had the sixth winning season in the last 37 years and fifth bowl win in the 125-year history of Tulane University football, and we're trending in the right direction. We still got a lot of goals that we want to accomplish here. First and foremost, being a consistent winner here at Tulane, but we're heading in the right direction. Some of the accolades that our guys were able to have this year. Number one, we had 4 guys that made all AAC. Zach Harris, Rod Teamer, Donnie Lewis, and Patrick Johnson. I thought we had a very good year defensively, and we improved the third most in Division I football from one year to the next as far as allowing less yardage, which is good. I think our defensive staff, led by Jack Curtis and all the guys on defense, did a super job, and we showed marked improvement in that area. Phil Steele, who's really big into college football and selecting all conference teams, he gave 8 of our guys all conference mention. A few guys added besides Zach, Rod, Donnie, and Patrick. Garen Etherly was all conference. AAC's our long snapper. Those long snappers get a lot of blame when things go wrong, and they get very little credit. If you don't hear their name very often, that means they're doing a good job. And Garen has had a great career for us so far. You don't hear much about him, and that's a good thing with a long snapper. Then Darnell Mooney, Darius Bradwell, and Amari Jones made it as a kick returner. I believe Amari has got the highest kick return average since 1938 here at Tulane University. I think the guy in 1938 had a higher average, but he only had 6 kick returns. So Amari had an outstanding season for us, returning kicks and punts, and also playing offensively. We came within a whisker of having 2 guys, a 1,000-yard rusher and a 1,000-yard receiver. Unfortunately, Darnell Mooney was at 993. We maybe should have thrown a ball to him that last series there in the bowl game, but Darius Bradwell went over 1,100 yards and Darnell at 993, which is pretty rare to have guys with those types of yardage. And again, Patrick Johnson, 3rd all-time sack leader in a season in Tulane history with 10.5. Got a young team coming back. I just looked at it a second ago. We got 10 guys on the offensive side of the ball who started at least one game for us. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we got 11 guys who've started at least one game for us coming back. And then we've got our kicker, punter, and snapper. So quite a few guys that are going to be returning who've got valuable playing experience for us. Recruiting I touched on the other day when I visited with you, but we've signed, or will have signed, beginning next Monday, a week from today, 21 of 25 scholarships that we have available. So we'll be out, and we're going to be very selective. The first thing we're looking at is guys that are Division I football players, and number 2, there may be a possibility for a transfer at a different position. Kind of hard on the grad transfers, just knowing who is actually going to be available, and then you can't really sign those guys. You got to wait till they actually come in. But we've got a couple holes to fill, and we're going to be very selective in who we sign with these 4 remaining scholarships that we have. Just giving you a few dates on the calendar over the next few months. We've got signing day, the second signing day, on Wednesday, February 6th. And then we're going to start spring football on March the 12th. We've got an early spring break for Tulane. I think our spring break's got it tied in with something called, what is it? Mardi Gras here in New Orleans. So we're going to start that on March the 12th. We're going to go a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday format. Again, all of our practices will be in the morning, culminating with our spring game on Saturday, April the 13th. We're going to really try to have a good event on Friday, April the 12th with our former Letterman. We had a good showing last year. I think we had 50, 60 of those guys come back. We're going to try to get even more guys come back. So those are a few dates, and we know about our schedule. We've got another very challenging schedule for 2019. I don't know if we've released it yet, but there's a date on our game, our first ball game we have. Yeah, we have not. All right. First one, I think we're going to play on Thursday evening. Is that correct? Against FIU, and we're looking forward to another great schedule for us in 2019. So I'll go ahead and open it up for questions if anybody's got any.
Willie, with McMillan, is he fighting for his job in the spring, or does he go in there as the #1 quarterback going into the spring?
He'll go in as the #1 quarterback, but we feel like we got some good competition. Keon Howard, started quite a few games at Southern Miss, but Justin really came on and played well at the end of the season. And it's good to have options, especially at that position. But, we thought Justin really played well down the stretch for us. Dane Ledford's another quarterback. We got that's got a limited experience for us. A great athlete out of high school, played for some state championships, won a state championship at Argyle High School in Texas. Christian Daniels, we've moved over to wide receiver, but we're probably going to put him back at quarterback. And there's a chance we may sign a high school quarterback. We're going to see here in the next few weeks.
Willie, when you go through your coaching history and the times that you've been rebuilding programs and what's on your plate from a day-to-day basis, once you build consistent winners, are players kind of are able to coach each other a little bit? If some get taken off your plate, how?
It's a good question. I thought that was a lot better this season. When you watch us practice, one of the things I always talk to our guys about, I've probably been to, 200-300 NFL practices over the years, and obviously I've coached a long time. And the better teams you have, the guys are locked in during practice, and they're finding solutions on the sideline. They're finding ways to get better. They're talking football all the time. There's a time for fun in there too, of course. But when you're most of the time you're wanting your guys just to be locked in and talking about things. I thought our guys did a much better job of that, and I tell them all the time, I have no problem with having 40 or 50 coaches out there, as long as the student athlete knows what he's talking about. And, Rod Teamer, Zach Harris, those are two guys I can think of for sure. John LeGlue, they're really, we're locked in practice, and we're coaching the younger guys. And when you get that going, you got something.
Really, two questions. How much will the offense change? One. Two, your schedule includes Army, includes Central Florida, you got to go to Auburn. Do you think that 2019 is more difficult in that regard than 2018?
The offense is going to change, not drastically, but there will be some changes in some of the run plays that we do, but also I think our passing game is going to evolve quite a bit. But I want to have a good, strong running attack. I think the teams you look at across the nation that are successful, obviously two teams playing tonight, are both great running teams. We talk about our Saints here in town. They've had a great year running the football, and I think it's helped them both offensively throwing it and also defensively playing complementary football. But to answer your question about the schedule, I think it's a tough schedule without question. We want to play a challenging schedule. FIU played in a bowl game, won a bowl game, won 9 or 10 games, I believe, this last year. Army won 11. Auburn is always a tough team year in, year out. UCF went 12-1 this year, so it's a very challenging schedule. It's a challenging conference, and we got to keep getting better. We can't, we certainly haven't done enough to rest on our laurels in any way, shape, or form. So we got to get better in order to keep improving, going down the path we want to go down.
Sort of as a follow-up, on the passing game, it seemed like a feast or famine. You did a big play, but it was
Yeah, I really do. Sometimes, you know, when you get out there, I believe you have a strong running attack, you know, you're going to get limited coverages because you know, regular rundown, down and distance situations, 1st and 10, 2nd and medium, those type of things. If you got a good strong running attack, they're probably going to show you and tip their hand about what they're going to do, pack in the box, whatever the case may be, and it allows you to take big shots like that. But there's times in the game where, you know, you've got to be able to throw the ball and have I don't want to say a complex passing attack, but more of a passing attack where you're going against a zone or they're giving you something different. And in order to do that, you know, you got to put a lot on the quarterback's plate, and the more he can handle, the more sophisticated your passing attack can be. So we've got to take a step in that direction without question.
Your thoughts on Alex Atkins leading to the opportunity that he has?
Yeah, Alex did a great job for us. I'm a big Alex Atkins fan, and you know, he and I talked quite a bit about this prior to him taking this job, and he's done a super job for us. Not only as a offensive line coach, but assistant head coach, and then also you know, recruiting. He's done a good job for us in recruiting. I think this is a great opportunity for him. Matter of fact, the head coach there, you know, Alex and him have been best friends. I don't know how long they were in each other's wedding, and I knew when he got the job it was going to be tough for me to keep him, but it's a great opportunity for him to get in the front end of a program and be able to be an offensive coordinator and learn on the job training with that. He did a very good job in the bowl game, as well as all of our offensive staff. I thought they really did a good job in that game as well. So, you know, he's going to be missed, but we got to be moving on and grab a guy that is going to be able to help us, you know, achieve the goals we want to achieve. But Alex certainly did a great job for us.
Will his replacement be an offensive line coach? I mean, Alex had.
You know, we've hired an offensive coordinator,
Right.
Will Hall. He's going to coach quarterbacks for us, and now we're looking for an offensive line guy. And you know, I'm flying out today and going to the national convention, and which is I'm going to see how quick I am because I've got a job open, and boy, it's tough when you have a job open. They get you coming and going all over the place. But we're one of the great things in the fact that we've got 21 of 25 guys signed is, you know, the recruiting part is not as important as it used to be 3 years ago when you signed on February 6th. So I'm going to be able to, you know, take my time on this hire because it's going to be very important. And then our offensive coordinator is going to have a big part in who we're going to hire as well. One of the things when I have a coordinator is I really try to give those guys an opportunity to be successful, and I want them to be comfortable with who I hire in that position because it's a very, very important position for us to hire.
Chris, do you feel the bars and raising the AAC with Houston poaching a coach from a Power 5 program and giving him $4 million a year? Do you feel like that level has risen when that kind of stuff goes on?
I think it shows the respect that coaches, players, I think people across the country have got for the AAC. You know, it's you know, obviously a guy leaving West Virginia to what we like to refer to as another Power 6 job is a big deal. You know, but you know, it's a great conference. It really is. It's great facility-wise. It's great for me to have, you know, people from Tulane travel with us and see, you know, the facilities that all these schools have in the AAC, and they're all in big market areas, you know, which I think helps you in recruiting. And all the games are on national TV, which is neat. So yeah, I think that brought a little bit of notoriety to the conference with Coach leaving West Virginia and going to Houston.
Just following up, does this maybe help you get some more things that you need when you can say, hey, Houston just paid $4 million for their coach. They gave a pool, I think, of over $4 million for all their assistant coaches to come to Houston.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why we're doing the things with the graphics up here in the office. We're going to get started on a weight room. I think we're going to have a big announcement on that, which should be done hopefully by the beginning of the summer. June 1 is what we're looking for. There's a lot of things we want to accomplish here. You know, and obviously I've said it many times before, I haven't shied away from it. You know, winning is going to help us accomplish all those different things. And, you know, but I do think, you know, when you're playing in a conference like the AAC, you gotta be able to look at what the other teams are doing and staffs, things like that. You know, and we're heading in the right direction with all those different things.
Willie, when you look across the American Athletic Conference, from the time that you first started coaching at Tulane, do you allow the philosophies offensively to change how you thought about what you wanted to do with your offense? I mean, does that happen?
Yeah, it does. You know, I really think more so than anything, it's kind of changing a little bit with the times. You know, there's always this race where, you know, either offensively or defensively, someone's doing something, and then that other side of the ball kind of catches up, and then you got to change a little bit more. And that's one of the things we'll do all, you know, spring and summer is look at who we're playing this year and what we need to do to change defensively or offensively or kicking game wise in order to catch up, you know. But you know, we're always going to have a little option element with what we're doing offensively. But I think, you know, maybe what we were doing a few years ago is a little bit more. You see more teams doing it now, and teams having a clue on how to defend it. You know, sometimes you run something a little bit different in the first year or two you run it. You know, it's amazing how little knowledge they have of how to defend it. You know, and vice versa. You know, with the defense. You know, whether it's, you know, I remember years ago we were zone blitzing the run a lot, and it was like stealing. You know, people were leaving guys unblocked at the point of attack. And now offensive have caught up. So it's always that race between offense and defense and trying to figure out what the other side of the ball is doing and you know, catching up with it. So that's one of the reasons why we've changed a little bit with what we're doing, because of the conference and you know, I think there's a lot of schools with spread tempo, and it's more difficult to defend spread tempo when your team doesn't do it, because now you're trying to get a scout team to give you that look, and it's just not the same thing.
Coach, as far as the transfer situation, do you expect to get a couple of guys who might be able to come in here to keep
Yeah.
the job? And is there anybody that is not going to be with you next year that you're aware of from the current group?
Not that I'm aware of. You know, it's I feel good about the guys we have returning, and I think we're going to have a good group coming back. And like I've said many times before, we're a very young football team. We've got a lot of guys that have played substantial minutes for us, which is great. You know, the transfer deal it's a tough deal. You know, they've got this hard cap 25. The maximum you can sign each year is 25 guys. If you're under the 85 scholarship limit that much, we are, and we're trying to get to 85. And so, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. You know, yeah, you can still be under the next year, and you can use it the following year. But our big deal that I've told our coaches is, and I've got to remember this: don't just plug a hole to plug a hole. Make sure that guy is a bona fide Division I football player, whether he's a freshman or a transfer guy. You know, and you know, and where we're at in our program right now, it's difficult to bring a transfer guy in who's got to sit a year. Now, if we do that, you know, he better be a pretty good football player. He better be a Corey Dauphine, someone like that. Otherwise, you know, I imagine we're going to sign 2 or 3, possibly 4 high school guys, and then we might sign 1 or 2 or 0 transfer guys, just depending on how it all shakes out.
You had the second highest sack total of any team in AAC history, and most of those guys are returning. How good do you feel about what you have?
Oh, well, I feel great about it. We got a bunch of guys that played a lot of football for us up front, and you know, really the only guy up front that we're losing is Rob Kennedy, who played a lot for us, and did a great job. But you know, we were rolling quite a few guys up there, and they should only get better. And I think part of that is we really understood, and I thought, one of our weaknesses a year ago was third down defense. And we got a lot better on that. And one of our weaknesses was putting pressure on the quarterback and obvious passing downs. We got better at that. And that's what you want to try to analyze during the off season and work towards that as a staff, and then also in spring football and in the summer and all those kind of things. And I thought our coaches did a good job being creative in passing downs.
What are the areas that you want to see improvement?
One of the things we talked about is being able to throw the ball on obvious passing downs. I want to be able to get more tempo, and I think that helps you in 2 minutes. I think it helps you changing up. I think the teams that give you trouble are the ones that can go real fast for a period of time, that can also slow it down and play, what you call a 4-minute type offense, where you can milk the clock and, make sure that, you run off every second that you possibly can. We got to do a better job of practicing that during the course of the season as well. Defensively, more takeaways. I think we've, you look at it year in and year out, and the top teams, you look at the top 20 teams in turnover takeaway margin, they all have winning records. And, for us to I hate to say this, this is the first year in my career as a head football coach that I've been minus in turnover takeaway margin. We were -1 this year, and it hurts, but we got to be plus. We need to be, +10, +15. That's going to equate into more wins.
How much more receptive do you feel like in the last few years Power 5 teams have been to scheduling AAC teams, and particularly maybe in
Oh, I think they'd all love to schedule if you go there and play. So they'd like to play. They'd like to schedule as many times they can. We're coming up here in the next few years where we're going to play some home and home ball games with Ole Miss and Mississippi State, Kansas State. So we've got some games. Oklahoma's going to come back at some point in time. So we've got some teams that are coming down here. But we want to run a Division I football program, and we want to be thought of as a national program. And in order to do that, you got to play those teams. And you hear that all the time with maybe Central Florida, wanting to get some home and homes and having a difficult time doing that right now. So I think they've been good experiences for our guys. I think when we get in a big stage, I don't think our guys are going to be shocked by it because they've played some teams like that. And we just got to do a better job of playing better against those teams, because they're going to be the better teams that you play.
with someone like the SEC only playing 8 conference games, is it easier to schedule with them at all? Or is that
Yeah, but it's so far out with, we're set up with our schedule, I think, to 2025 or something like that, so it's just a long ways out with scheduling opponents. There's not very many openings, to do it, and that's just how they do it nowadays. A lot of it's dictated by TV also.
Obviously, your weapon this year was Zach Block as a kickoff specialist. I mean, 35 or 60, I think, more touchbacks. Is the guy on the roster that you feel like?
Yeah, we do. We feel like, we feel like we got a couple of young guys that pretty good kickoff guys. And a year in the weight room, Zach has gotten better. You sometimes think about the off-season program being geared towards linemen, but the guys that I've seen that have made the most progress through the weight room out there, and you watch them actually do it on the field, has been kickers and punters. Because it seems like I'll bet you he's kicking the ball consistently 5 yards further than when we first got here. That's a lot of that's derived from increased leg strength.
You mentioned on your O-line opening, do you anticipate any other openings?
I don't think so. You never know, though. This is the time of year where that occurs, and so you certainly hope not. We've got a good staff, hard-working guys, good role models and mentors to our student athletes, and then I think continuity is good. If I didn't feel comfortable with them, I wouldn't have them here. I feel very comfortable with them. I think they feel comfortable with me, and hopefully we'll keep everybody together.
Then you have Donnie Lewis playing in one of the All-Star games.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. He's going to be playing in the East-West game here in January, mid-January. Is that next week? Yeah, I think it might be a week from this weekend, maybe. But that's a great deal for Donnie. I also think we're going to find out, but he's been selected to play in the, to go compete in the combine. And I hope we have a few other guys that get to do that, and very well deserved. But I really think, it's hard because there's only 32 teams in the world that, play NFL football. But I think we got 4, 5, 6 guys that have an opportunity to at least get into camp and show what they can do.
Anybody else slated for the
Those are the only ones I've heard so far. But we're right down the road from Mobile, so if they're looking for someone, we can get them in the car. And now that they've graduated, not playing for me anymore, can I pay for their gas money then, or is that legal? Or I'll give them a ride.
Then you mentioned having been in attendance in maybe 200 or 300 NFL practices through the years. Any with the Saints, and is there anything that stands out about?
Saints are just they're just awesome for us. They're just Coach Payton, Mickey Loomis, and Ms. Benson. Jay Romig is the guy that I deal with quite a bit. Their equipment staff, all of them are just unbelievable. We probably would have. I think this year we missed maybe 3 practices because of a conflict with something they had going on out there. But otherwise, we probably practiced in their indoor facility, or the people down there at the Superdome. I think we practiced 4 or 5 times down there. People ask me all the time, in recruiting, do you have an indoor facility? And I tell them, yeah, we got 2 of them. So they're great, and it's illegal for any Tulane football player, staff member, coach to root for anybody except the Saints in the NFL. That's it. That's our number 1 team. So we're in the NFL. We're just they're great to work with.